What's going on, Ultra Buddies? During here with the Omega deck profile. This deck got a nice new boost with the Gamedon Armor in BP08. But since it's been a while since BP06, we got some upgrades. We're going to go through all the cards, make sure you know what this deck does, why it's so good, and show you off some few play patterns that you can use in your next matches. And I'm excited to share with this one because Omega is actually the first Ultraman show I ever watched. So it's got a special place in my heart. And the freaking Valgus armor looks so cool. So let's start it off with Valgus armor are a level 4. We've got 3 copies of that. And when it enters play as a quad, you can put 1 level 5 kaiju and 1 level 6 kaiju with type Meteo in from your discard into your hand. So it's quite nice to be able to get some cards set up a big play. But it's also really helpful because you need triples for the Valgus, what we'll get to later in the deck. And sometimes you don't get a level 1, so you need that there. We've got 3 of those. We've got our Man on the Moon Omega, the OG. This is the deck, the card that started it all, Insanity. What it does is a double or triple. You can reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, and then you can choose a Meteo Kaiju from among them and trigger its when enters play effect, and then you discard everything. Huge, 18,000 powers, really strong, and just being able to get effects for free. This is usually a BP grade up, a BP grade down, a top 3 search for free. It was insane. It's still insane. The ball keeps rolling for Omega. We've got Gamdon Armor. So this card is actually so good. I'm playing it at 4. It lets you get your way out of bad hands really easily. And it can also stall out the game, as Omega is a deck that can really punish in the late game if you get there. But you can do some really nice setups with the Gamedon Armor. So you got to play that at 4 in my opinion. And running out of space here. Our last level 3 is 2 Reckiness Armor. This card is not quite as good as it used to be because we're not running the other scene, the old scene, which I'm honestly debatable about, but I think it makes sense. What it does is it lets you put a Meteo Kaiju from your discard on top of your deck, and they give it plus 1,000. So it'll be an 18,000 for a turn, a 13,000 for the turn. Pretty nice. And it lets you guarantee whatever effect you want off of this. That's the main reason you play it now. Just have 2, because before you could also set up the scene where you get plus 2,000, but not anymore. We're not doing that anymore. And that's the level 3s. So there's not a lot of room with the big the big preview, so we'll get that squeezed in there. All right, let's move on to our level 2 Omegas. Let's get this one out of the way. Ultraman Omega level 2. Just send the top 4 cards of your deck to your discard. If you send a Kaiju card, it gets plus 1,000. This is just to help you fill up the discard. Filling up the discard matters for your level 4. It matters for your Reckiness Armor. That's kind of it. So this one I'm honestly debating on a little bit. I think depending on the meta, how the meta goes, you could go for the anti-speed type. There's an anti-power type, even just a 12k or 810 could be good. 12k power, and then I think there's this new anti-basic one. Dude, that's a good one too. There's a lot of basics floating around. So this one's up in the grabs. Play with that one if you want to. We've got our Scene Searcher, of course. Again, fill the discard for our Reckiness Armor, for our Valgus Armor, and get a scene while you're at it, and then a Muscle Draw. Recycle draw, mulligan draw, whatever you will. So that returns 2 from the bottom of the deck to up to 2 from the bottom of the deck from your hand, and you can draw 2. Really helps the consistency of the deck, which it makes a big difference. It was a bit tough before. And then for our level 1 Omegas, we got 4 draws, and we got 4 of the one that puts an Omega on top of your deck when you have a scene. Let me go find that one really quick. Here's the draw while I look for the other one. There it is. If a scene, you can put an Omega from the discard on top of the deck. This doesn't really matter, I think. It does not really come up, so I would not worry. Would not worry about the effect too much. If you don't have these ones, go find something else. It might even be better to play something with BP boost power, but that's what we got for now, just in case you need to get one of these guys from your deck. That's all the Omegas. That's it. Pretty simple. It's going to be an 8-10-10. It's a pretty consistent standard lineup. You gotta play. You gotta play the big boy. He's so good. He never changed. But since we're playing that big boy, you gotta wonder what Meteor Kaiju we're gonna use to combo. So you've gotta have. Let's start down. Right at the bottom. You gotta have your Valgenus given a BP grade down. Of course, gotta have the Valgenus, the BP grade down. You gotta have the Reckiness, the BP grade up. Gotta have those, And of course, gotta have Trigon or Searcher. So this is the way that Omega gets away with essentially playing 2 draw level 1s, and one of them is the Trigon, but it does need an Omega. You cannot forget that. You cannot play a Trigon on the first lane. It will not get its effect. So we got all the level 6s. We got 3 level 5s to the Valges. It's a super skinny Meteor Kaiju package. Everything with effects, and then the Valgenus, because you need that to get this effect off when you play it as a double, is super duper important. There's not really much to talk about. These cards power up this one. It's nice you can get them back into your hand. You can grab a Valgenus pair, but then go bada boom next turn. I have considered playing the Reticulate Beam, the level 3, but I think it's too cheese. I think it's too cheese. You guys got to go with what's consistent, what's working. And yeah, that's pretty good. And the last card we have in our deck is 3 Overlapping Futures. So this is one of the newer scenes from BP06, a round 3 scene. But if you have an Omega, you discard 1 card from your hand, trigger an enters play effect, boom, 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 from one of your single Kaiju with type Meteor. So if you play Valgenus as a double, you cannot activate it. But if you discarded an Omega with that effect, then that Kaiju that you targeted gets plus 2,000 BP. So pretty strong, pretty good. You could make an argument to take out the level 5s, but I feel like so then you just play Valgenus by itself and then use Overlapping Futures. I feel like that's not that's not the smartest move, but you could do it. It's nice to have the extra options. But that is the Omega deck. It's a very, very strong deck. The Gamedon Armor does surprisingly a lot for this deck. So let's bring that up. I think I forgot to bring it up earlier. Omega. Gamdon Armor. So this card is crazy. If you get to choose one of your Meteor Kaijus and force it to be a tie. So when you play your Trigon to draw, force it to be a tie. Actually insane. So it does a lot of things for you. If you're having a weak hand, you can use Gamedon to Armor to tie while you look for more things. So let's do some play patterns so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. But yeah, the Gamedon Armor is so sick. We're gonna say bye-bye Gamedon Armor for a bit so we can talk about some of the plays. So obviously our scene is super duper good. So if you want to kind of guarantee yourself the scene, especially if you have a lead, let's say you're going to boom, okay, turn 1, turn 2, this is kind of like that's kind of our favorite play, right? We draw, then we play a Trigon while we level up, and now on turn 3, your opponent might, you can do a lot of things now. Now you can do a lot of things. You can hit them with the Reckiness, plus the Big Bad. That's going to be a pretty punishing turn against some players. But I think the deck it wants to play a little bit slower now. So what you can actually do is you can even set up for another triple. You could play a solo there, but you can set up for another triple, right? Boom, boom. Then, oh man, that's a pretty weak turn, right? Just kidding. Force the tie. Now you're safe. Then the next turn, boom. Now you can hit him with the big boy moves. Okay, so that's a really nice play where you can do another setup turn while using Gamedon to stall. You can also do a similar thing if you have 2 draws for Omega. You can go draw, boom. You can play a really weak turn, keep on stacking up the advantage, boom, 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 and then next turn you go like bada bing, bada boom. because you got something you can get the Omega going on. Like you basically get to play extra greedy because you have a way to just like get out of losing games that you should for sure lose if you're playing greedy. So that's the idea with the Gamdon Armor. You can play a little extra greedy, you can play a little extra safe. With what makes it so strong. Okay, and I would say that's kind of what you're looking for ideally. You can play Omega very, very aggressively, don't get me wrong, but without having level 5s for Trigon, it's a kind of a weak turn, to be honest. Like, it's going to be really hard to KO people with a 9k in lane 2 on turn 3. But like if you go for this turn or something, and if you have lead, like let's do another pretendy. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you got something going on like this. Then you could Gamedon Armor here or here, assuming that you have the lead. Then you'll force this to be a tie. You'll definitely have lead. You'll keep the lead for turn 3 because you force it to be a tie. And then you get to play your scene, and then you get to go crazy. So that's another way that this all kind of ties in together. You can bully your way into winning lead for the scene, or you can keep yourself safe, play for the long game. It opens up a lot of options for you, and it's quite nice. It's quite nice. I do think that the scene is pretty important for how the deck plays now. So I would consider boosting it up a little bit, maybe 4 of them. Who knows? But that's it. The deck is pretty solid. I really like it. It's actually probably my favorite deck to play right now. I really like utilizing the tie from Gamdon Armor. It comes out really nicely. It can kind of go wherever you need it to tie. And it gets really scary for the opponent when you start hitting 6 lanes. I'm gonna go. Do I have room for 6 lanes here? Let's see. Do you have 6 lanes? Okay. So if you get into like a position like this, we're gonna make something up. Like going into turn 5, right? You get something like this going into turn 5. It's pretty easy to kind of hit something like this, force a tie, find 2 wins, and then you're going to turn 6. And then on turn 6, I mean, this probably won't win you the game, but on turn 6, if you have another Gamdon here, and you can be like, well, I'm winning here, I'm winning here, I'm winning here, and I force a tie on this lane, now they only have 2 wins, and you win the game. So when you get to like the later games with turn 6, Gamdon turns from a stall into a I win button, which is really crazy. It's something that came up a lot with the Zeton. So do not sleep on the Gamdon. This card's crazy. It does everything. It helps you get time to fix your bad hands. It helps you get lead for the scene, and it can help you win when the game goes into the like weird tie range where you're tying with your opponent back and forth, and you just need to get more wins on them. So that's it for the deck. We do have a lot of matches coming. Look forward to that, and I'm looking forward to playing more Omega. We'll see you around. Whoosh. That'd be fun. We can do the outro. Okay. Bye bye.